Before we dive into the chaos of Hank's experiments at the Vault-Tec facility in Las Vegas, let's set the stage. This isn't just another science gone wrong story. It's a story about obsession, morality, privilege, and human greed. Hank is a brilliant scientist, yes, but he's also deeply flawed. He is testing a brain-computer interface, a technology designed to connect human thought directly to machines, and the results are catastrophic. Mice explode. Human subjects die. And all the while, Hank hides behind a facade of moral reasoning. But what makes this scene so compelling isn't just the horror, it's the message underneath. It's about the illusions of power, the danger of corporate greed, and the ethical compromises people make when they think they're above the rules. At the start, we see Hank working on mice. Each attempt at testing the brain-computer interface ends in disaster. The mice explode time and again. This establishes two things: Hank's obsession with success and the dangerous instability of the technology he's attempting to control. Watching these failures, you can't help but feel tense. The audience immediately understands that something is deeply wrong.
This is Hank McClane, reporting for duty, sir.
And yet Hank's determination is both admirable and terrifying. He is a man who cannot stop until he succeeds, no matter the cost. But Hank doesn't stop with mice. He escalates the experiments by selecting a human subject from the premium Elite Plus section of the facility, the so-called best of the best, people who believe they are insulated from the chaos of the world. The result is horrifying. The man's head explodes. It's a brutal, shocking moment. But it's not just gore for the sake of shock. This event is layered with meaning. Hank frames his decision as moral judgment. He claims that the human subject failed the ultimate test of responsibility. He didn't protect his family during the nuclear holocaust. Hank's justification is that he has gone above and beyond to safeguard his loved ones and simply cannot tolerate someone who did not do the same. At first glance, this reasoning might seem convincing. Hank has shown care for his family, and the audience can see why he might hold others to that standard. But the more we think about it, the more hypocritical it becomes. Hank is judging someone for failing to survive or protect others in a disaster that was caused, at least in part, by the very system he works for, Vault-Tec. The moral high ground he claims is shaky at best. He is taking a catastrophic situation and using it to justify his own extreme actions. That tension between logic and hypocrisy is what makes this character and this scene so fascinating. The scene also works as a commentary on privilege. The Premium Elite Plus class believes their wealth and status make them untouchable. They think they can buy their way out of danger. But Hank proves them wrong in a terrifying way. Wealth does not make someone invincible, and the illusion of power can be shattered in an instant. The explosion of the human subject is a literal and metaphorical reminder. Privilege is temporary when confronted by forces beyond control, whether it's technology, morality, or sheer human obsession. Hank's actions also highlight the dangers of corporate greed and unchecked ambition. Vault-Tec and Robco are not just background players. They are forces that shape every aspect of this experiment. These companies sell promises of security and superiority, often at the expense of ordinary people. Hank is both a product of this system and a reflection of its darkest tendencies. He shows how corporations can create structures where human life becomes secondary to innovation, profit, or prestige. The Premium Elite Plus group may feel untouchable, but Hank, empowered by Vault-Tec's resources, demonstrates that control is never guaranteed. Hank himself is a deeply complex figure. He embodies both brilliance and danger. On one hand, he goes to extraordinary lengths to protect his family. On the other, he is capable of grotesque violence towards strangers. His obsession with the brain-computer interface drives him past ethical boundaries. Every failed experiment, every exploded mouse, every human casualty pushes him further into a mindset where the ends justify the means. Watching Hank is like looking into a mirror of human ambition at its darkest. The desire to succeed, to innovate, and to control, even when the cost is immense. The narrative also engages with philosophical questions. Can someone who is complicit in a disaster legitimately judge another human being for failing to navigate it? Hank's reasoning challenges viewers to think about responsibility and survival. Is moral authority earned through action, through survival, or is it a construct that collapses under scrutiny? The story doesn't provide easy answers, And that ambiguity is part of its power. It forces the audience to wrestle with uncomfortable questions about ethics, privilege, and the human instinct for self-preservation. A key theme is accountability versus privilege. The Premium Elite Plus class is insulated and confident in their ability to avoid consequences. They have money, resources, and status on their side. But Hank's experiments demonstrate that no amount of privilege can shield someone from forces that operate beyond their understanding. This mirrors real-world social dynamics, where those who feel untouchable are often the first to be blindsided when a system they depend on turns against them. It's a powerful lesson wrapped in the shocking visuals of a failed human experiment. Another striking aspect of the story is the psychological tension it creates. Hank's moral contradictions, his care for family versus his cruelty toward strangers, make him compelling and terrifying. Viewers are fascinated by his reasoning, yet horrified by his actions. This mix of fear and curiosity. The story also serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked science. The brain-computer interface, a technology meant to connect minds and machines, becomes a weapon when ambition overtakes ethics. Its repeated failures, culminating in the human casualty, emphasize the consequences of experimenting without restraint or oversight. Hank is a cautionary figure, representing the archetype of the mad scientist whose genius is inseparable from his moral flaws. What makes this scene truly unforgettable is how it intertwines personal obsession, corporate exploitation, and social critique. Hank's obsession drives the plot. The Premium Elite Plus subject embodies privilege and its fragility. Vault-Tec and Robco symbolize systemic greed and power. Together, these elements create a story that is both horrifying and intellectually engaging. It's a narrative that invites viewers to reflect on morality, ambition, and the illusions of control. The explosion itself is symbolic. It shatters the illusion of invincibility that the Premium Elite Plus class holds dear. It exposes Hank's hypocrisy and the dangers of corporate and scientific overreach, and it leaves the audience asking questions. How far would someone go to achieve success? How much power is too much? And ultimately, can anyone truly claim moral authority in a world built on exploitation? Finally, the scene resonates because it mirrors real-world dynamics. The privileged elite often believe they are untouchable, shielded by money, status, or connections. Hank demonstrates that those who seem untouchable are never fully in control. Corporate greed, human ambition, and moral compromise are forces that can level anyone, regardless of their position. For viewers, this makes the scene more than just entertainment. It becomes a reflection on society, power, and human nature. In conclusion, Hank's experiments at Vault-Tec are shocking, morally complex, and socially reflective. They explore obsession, privilege, and the ethical compromises people make in pursuit of power. The explosion of the Premium Elite Plus subject is both literal and metaphorical. It exposes fragility, hypocrisy, and the consequences of unchecked ambition. Hank is terrifying because he challenges viewers to confront uncomfortable questions about morality, responsibility, and human ambition. And that is what makes this scene not only unforgettable, but perfect material